Hey, welcome to this week's Table Talk podcast. I'm Caleb. I'm joined by David today. And David, I think it's all panned out.
It has.
I think it'll all pan out.
It's all going to pan out in
It'll
the
all
end.
pan out in the end.
Yeah.
What a week.
Pan-millennialist.
I know. I'm pro millennial. I am a pro millennial reign of Christ.
Yes.
I'm all for it. Yeah. Whatever form it takes.
Yeah. Good classic. That's a Bible college joke if I've ever heard one.
It is. Yes. Yeah, there's some classics out there. Malachi, the Italian prophet, that's a good one. The Sadducees didn't believe in a resurrection. That's why they were sad. You see? That's a good one too. Yeah.
Yep. We talked about it before this one. The Pharisees, they weren't fair.
You see? Yeah. Classic Bible humor.
Yes.
It's good stuff.
Yep. If you don't get any of that, you can make sure you go back and listen to the sermon from yesterday. Caleb talked on Revelation 19 and 20, which is one of the hardest and most controversial, one of the most controversial, a lot of hot takes, scriptures in the Bible. Of course, everybody that reads it thinks that their way of viewing it is the correct way. And it's really hard to tell. Yeah,
it is. I mean, it's look, man, the Bible's complicated. All right. I think we do ourselves a disservice when we pretend like it's not. Like there are some things in Scripture that are crystal clear. Like Jesus is God. He died, he rose, he's coming back. That is crystal clear. The exact details of what that's going to look like is not. And I think that's just okay for us to admit we're not going to have all the answers. Faith is a mystery. The mystery of the incarnation, the mystery of the second coming, the mystery of resurrection. Like there's a mystery to this, and that's okay. And one day, when Jesus returns, whether it's pre, post, or whatever, like we will get to see the mystery revealed. And I think what we'll find is that God is so vast and so deep and so wide. His love is so overwhelming that we'll spend all of eternity mining the depths of that mystery. And it's just going to be so good. And so we get all up in knots now trying to figure it out and fight over it. It's like, no, we trust he's coming back. We trust it's going to be so stinking good when he does.
Yeah.
And, we can have our little guessing games on what it might look like when it happens.
Yeah, I've said this. I know I've said it on this podcast, but it's one of my favorite things when we're talking about Revelation and end times and things like that is Jesus' first coming was better and different than what we were expecting.
Yeah.
It was both better and different than what most people were expecting.
Yeah.
And I expect his second one to be in the same realm.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be better than we're expecting, and it's probably going to be different than what we're all expecting. So it is important to study and understand. I look at this one. This book is just reminds me so much of Isaiah and those prophets who were
intentionally so.
Yes, and they're it reads so much like it that once Christ comes back, I think we'll be able to look at it with clarity and be able to see it and go, that's exactly what he meant. Oh, all of this makes complete sense.
Yeah.
And so because people were reading about the suffering servant, and they were reading about a woman who, a virgin who would give birth, and they were reading all these things and going like, how does this even work?
Right.
And until Christ came, it made it hard to even understand how it worked. But what it did do is it set us up to be able to say, wow, look how perfectly this fit.
Yeah.
And so when Christ comes, we'll be able to look at it and go, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, and it's going to be really, really good. And I think that's the overarching message of Revelation. And I think what we tried to get at yesterday was all of this is for a purpose. All of this is for God to redeem and restore creation. All of this is for God to be reunited with his people forever. And so all the things that, seem confusing or scary or uncertain, it's like we may not have all the details, but we can trust that God is going to use all of that for good, for our good and for his glory. And the end result is going to be better than anything we could possibly imagine for ourselves. I think that's just kind of what we have to hold on to as we approach Revelation as a whole, but especially these last few chapters, where things do tend to get debated and argued about. We got to keep the main thing.
Yeah. Well, some of the, like an example of what people would see in the Old Testament, which is like, man, it seems like there's two Messiahs here. How could there be, or, two different things? Because they would go, how could one suffer and die?
Yeah.
But also one that comes as a victor and king.
Yeah.
It's like, how can he be both? And Jesus just makes it so clear.
Yeah.
And I know when we were talking about Old Testament stuff, we talked about how it's like a light. Jesus is in the middle of this, and the light is shining, and the shadows are broad. And when you're looking at a shadow of something that's in front of it, you're looking back. It could be a tree. It could be all these things. But as the light gets closer, you see it more and more clearly, more and more defined.
Yeah.
And in the Old Testament, we're able to look at Christ and say, oh, look, there's his hand, and there's the shadow back in the Old Testament of his hand. That makes super clear. And I think the same thing will be true in Revelation.
Yep.
Is right now it looks stretched out and kind of strange, and how do we understand this? But then when Christ comes back, it's going to be defined, and we'll be able to look at it and go, oh, I see it. I see where that shadow, it looked weird and strange, and it didn't quite make, like, I couldn't quite figure it out.
Yeah.
But in light of Jesus, when I can see him, it all makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, it's going to be really good. And I have so enjoyed going through this book. I really enjoyed studying for this week's message. And I don't know. I just think like there's such an impact that reading Revelation can have on our faith now. Like I think we do a disservice again when we think it's like solely about the future. It's like, no, this has so much to say for how we live right now. And it's so encouraging for how we live right now that I'm really happy that we've taken the time to go through this summer. And I hope that as you guys have listened to it, both the podcast and read along and the sermons, like I just hope that it has benefited you as much as it has me. And not my teaching of it, not David's teaching, not Ron's teaching, but just like the time spent in the text and trusting God to work as we've studied this together, I think is going to pay dividends for us individually, but also us as a church down the road. And I'm just really excited to see what that turns into. Yeah.
I would say I've already seen benefits from it. And just by response and people understanding, I think it takes some bravery to take on the book of Revelation and to have a lead pastor and a church who goes, let's do it.
Yeah.
A teaching staff who are like, let's go
this.
for it. Like we'll let it ride. Let's see what God brings out. And so I think for a lot of people that's exciting, and probably reading it in a way that they've not really read it before, and some people not really probably reading it having never read it before at all because it's scary.
Yeah.
They grew up thinking this is a scary book.
Yeah.
And the reality is it's good news.
Yeah.
The whole New Testament is good news for those who are following Christ.
Yeah. Yeah. And so thank you guys, I mean, for the way you have locked in and have, you've invested time into this too, and attention and energy and just receptiveness to the Spirit. And I think it's just, I don't know, I agree. I've seen benefit from it already. And it's not anything we've done. I think it's just allowing and trusting that, hey, God's going to work through this. Like we may be fumbling about in the darkness here, but we trust that God gave this text to the church in John's day for a reason, gave this vision to John for a reason. We believe he can still use it today for a reason to bless us and to mature us. And so just opening our hands and say, God, do with us what you want, I think has just been a really powerful season. And I'm excited to wrap it up because I think I've said this on here before, like I get to the end of a series and I'm like, all right, let's get on to the next thing. But it's going to be bittersweet. We've got 1 week of this left and it's going to be a little bittersweet because I've just enjoyed this so much that I'll be sad to see it go.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say we can't come back in a couple years, or a few years, whatever. But it's just this has been a really good season for us as a church, I think. And I'm excited. Sorry, I cut you off again. I'm excited to see like the next season. Like I think God's up to something.
I agree. And what's pretty amazing about a book like Revelation is that we can come back a few seasons from now, and some of our views on some of those could be
totally different.
Could be changed.
Yeah.
And the ultimate end of it won't be changed. Like the ultimate end, the ultimate message of Revelation is Christ is coming back. Death and pain and suffering, that's going to be defeated.
Yeah.
And that we will be co-heirs with Christ for eternity, which is a wonderful message for us.
Yeah.
And I got to talk about it with children's ministry yesterday, and how the story's not over yet. It's kind of what we Christ is going to come back. He's making things new.
Yeah.
He is making us new every day.
Yeah.
Along with preparing us for the future, all new future. So it's not like this is some distance thing. This is happening right now.
Yeah.
And like with our kids, you can be made new.
Right.
And they were excited about that, which is kind of neat. Like just to be like, oh yeah, this is new. I had several kids talk about baptism
it's
yesterday
amazing.
because it was just like, oh, I want to be made new.
Yeah.
I want to follow Christ with my life, and stuff like that. And so it's a blessing of a conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. And I think there's going to be so much fruit from these 13 weeks in the future for us.
Yeah.
And again, that's not anything we've done. I think it is God is working and moving, and God, I think God, when we earnestly seek Him, blesses us with fruit. And I don't think, you can take that to the far end and go, well, prosperity, gospel, and riches, and that's not the point. I think God blesses us with spiritual maturity and spiritual fruit when we earnestly pursue Him. When we approach Him and His Word with humility and with passion and love and go, I just want to know you more. I want to know you better. I want to look more like you. I think God does something within us. And I've just seen that in our church over these last 12 weeks. And it's been really special. And I just think we're stepping into something really cool. And I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know exactly what the next year, 5 years, whatever holds. But I just think we're going to look back at this summer and go, God did something really cool here. He started fanning the flame of something this summer.
Yeah, I agree. Heading into this last week, this is, we're nearing the apex of this, like maybe not the apex, the biggest moment with Christ's return and what it'll look like. Can you give us a little bit of preview for Sunday? Yeah,
so this coming Sunday, we're in 21 and 22, which will be kind of the consummation, like the marriage feast of the Lamb. It'll be the new Jerusalem, the new creation coming down out of heaven, and we get to see like where we'll spend eternity in this beautiful city that God has created for us and has designed for us and restored for us. And what we find is that our destination is not some far away in the sky place. Like our destination is a renewed earth and a renewed heaven overlapping together, where God's space and people's space come together, where He is our light, He's our source, He is our everything. And we get to live forever in that new creation, where I think we get to finally live as the full humans God created us to be. We'll get to work and play and rest and love and enjoy and celebrate the way that God wanted us to, the way that God designed us to. And I just think we can't even fully comprehend what that's going to look like. But it's going to be really exciting to talk about it.
Yeah. I'm really excited about it. And it's a mystery too. Like, and it's just like with anything, there's mystery to it of like, what exactly will this look like? But I'm excited to dig into that. Definitely read This is a great one to read because if you want encouragement, if you want, oh man, this I'm excited for this. This is a great chapter to dig in and read for.
Yeah, it is. So I'd encourage you guys read 21 and 22 this week. Give it a look, and let's wrap this thing up on Sunday with a bang. It'll be good.
And then after this Sunday, we're heading into another series.
Yeah, we're heading into something called Garden City. Garden City, which is ironic because that's what Revelation ends with, is a garden city. But it's also how Scripture begins. Scripture begins in the Garden of Eden, but there's this command to go out and to steward creation, to subdue it. We were created to kind of steward creation with God. And so Garden City, it'll be based off a book by John Mark Comer. But it's really, we're going to talk about what it means to be human and to work and to rest and to create, and like how to leverage our vocation and our calling toward cultivating the type of world that God created us to. And so we're going to talk about, how there's no such thing as a sacred secular divide. Like all work, all callings, all vocations can be used by God to bring his kingdom into the world. I'm not even preaching the first 2 weeks. Joel is going to preach the first week, and Dave Geyer, some of you guys may know Dave, he plays drums in the band sometimes, he's going to preach the second week. Both of those guys either are or have been involved in the ministry, and they have jobs outside of the church. So Joel is an occupational therapist, and he has a lot of extensive restaurant experience. Dave has been a teacher. He's now a principal of an elementary school here in town. So these guys are using their calling outside of the walls of the church, but they are bringing the kingdom and revealing the kingdom where they're at. And so I think it's going to be really special to hear from them and encouraging for you guys, I hope, to see how do we leverage our work and our jobs and our family life and our rest and our play to reveal the kingdom.
That'll be cool. The idea of the garden is just so prevalent throughout the whole Bible. And Jesus talking about it, he says, today you'll be to the thief on the cross, today you'll be with me in paradise. He actually says the garden. Today you will be with me in the garden. And it's like, oh wow, Jesus with some of his last words is talking about this, the garden. And so the last words that he's talking about in Revelation, that the words that Jesus gave John and the vision he's given John is like, hey, there's the garden, and let's dig into that. Let's see what God has for all of that.
It's gonna be really exciting. I'm excited about it, and so stay tuned. A few more weeks, I guess 2 weeks from now, we'll be talking about Garden City. So it'll be really good.
Sounds really good.
Well, thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week. We will see you here on Sunday as we close out Revelation. Have a good one.